Hi everyone, it's me, your boy, Uncle Melty, the host of the Metal Meltdown. Please, hold your applause. Actually, no, I command you applaud. You must do it now! Yes! 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 Boost my ego! Don't stop until I say otherwise! What are we doing again? Honestly, I don't remember. It's been kind of a weird week for me. You know, it's been weird. I'm looking forward to what will be my weekend essentially, because I'm just gonna sit in the alleyway with a Bluetooth speaker and a 6-pack of beer, and that's gonna be my day. We're gonna party King of the Hill style and just drink in the alleyway. Screw it. Why not? Anyways, You Are Safe from God here, latest full-length studio album from American deathcore icons, the Acacia Strain, OGs of the genre. One of my favorite bands in the genre, too, for that matter. They have been on a roll, in my opinion. Call them butter, because as I mentioned, they've been on a roll since 2014's Como Witch, which remains one of my favorite albums in the entire genre. All-time deathcore classic, in my opinion. Like, that was the album where everything kind of clicked, you know? It was more mature, it was darker, it was more atmospheric. I love its, like, massive closing number 2, which delved into, like, sludge and doom metal, too. What was that shit called again? Observer? That was great. Observer was awesome. No disrespect to everything that came before that. But that was where Acacia Strain, like, they blossomed. They became the Acacia Strain that I now know and love. And honestly, everything they've put out since then has been pretty great, too. I mean, Grave Bloom, It Comes in Waves, Slow Decay as well, can't forget that, and also the double whammy that was Step Into the Light and Failure Will Follow, which saw the Acacia Strain experiment with a variety of different kinds of, like, extreme metal sounds and styles and influences. In general, the Acacia Strain has been a little bit more experimental and ambitious than some of their OG deathcore peers. And Vincent Bennett, the band's lead singer, songwriter, and only consistent member, only original member left in the band, is also one of the best in the game. Like, he has this really great knack for writing very dark, very introspective, very intimate, very revealing material, and he's able to communicate everything with a lot of force and anger and heart. And in that sense, in some ways, one could argue it's business as usual for the Acacia Strain on You Are Safe from God here. But no, but also no. That's a very surface level kind of take, frankly. Not trying to be a dick or nothing, I'm just letting you know. I'm just letting you know. Vincent Bennett is on record saying this is his most personal album yet, and possibly the first time he's ever really worn his heart on his sleeve lyrically. It's his most honest and authentic record, which I find odd because I never once considered Acacia Strain dishonest or inauthentic. I always felt they always were those things already. So, yeah, cool. Good job acting, I guess. You fooled me. Nihilism, violence, dread, despair, misery, loneliness, cosmic holy judgment all make up the bulk of the lyrical content on the album. It is, true to its title, very much about being safe from God, running away from God. And there are multiple ways you can take that, I suppose. You can interpret it as a rejection of God and his teachings and of religious institutions as well. You can interpret it as being angry at God, lashing out at God for some kind of perceived wrong. You can also interpret it as very literally just trying to find a place that is safe from God. You're sick of hearing about the motherfucker. Or even more literally, maybe it's the apocalypse. You're running away from God and his wrath. Lord knows there are plenty of moments on the album that have apocalyptic weight and sound and size and scale and that match that particular narrative. But truth be told, I think it's a combination of all of these things simultaneously. Because one minute we're bleak and bitter, the next we're hostile and abrasive, the next we're more contemplative, we're doing more introspection. And the music matches all of this damn near perfect as well. You've got percussive blasts and churning, chugging riffs galore, and girthy, grimy bass licks, and spacious moments, and noisy moments, and the whole thing has a kind of like grind power violence-esque kind of mayhem and chaos to it at times. A very raw yet full-bodied and just polished enough kind of production and sound mix as well. All the songs are short as hell too. It's the Acacia Strain at their most death metal and at their most hardcore, but hear me out, at their least deathcore, if that makes sense. I hope it does. I don't know. You've got the opening number, Eucharist 1 Blood Offering, which has tons of sludgy, droning, drawn-out riffs and sprawls and noisy textures and agonizing, aggravated noises kind of like sandwiched in between these violent, misanthropic outbursts. Then following number, Call Beyond, gives us more chunky, groove-laden kind of death metal with a hardcore underbite, tons of rolling, galloping, crunchy fucking riffs and drums all the way through. The aptly titled Swamp Mentality, too, has swampy, sludgy, ominous, almost oppressive, kind of simplistic bass licks kind of riding underneath a variety of, like, muscle-headed chugging riffs, and a burst of what feels like full-blown blackened grindcore as well. Nice use of static and distortion and some subtle samples to create a little bit more atmosphere to provide this little extra edge of fear and horror and despair. Holy Moonlight, too, has this great back and forth between this like very fast-paced kind of hardcore-infused death metal and then these more like slow-paced, like sludgy beat downs with some great like grinding, sweeping, scraping guitar sounds as well. Gnarly as all holy fuck. And the band's embrace of blackened, sludgy, epic doom metal madness on closing number, Eucharist 2 Blood Loss, is so goddamn good and cool. I'm genuinely hoping that this is the direction Acacia Strain takes permanently from here on. Goddamn. Vocal and guitar contributions from members of Blackwater Holy Light in certain parts of this number as well add an extra little dose of misery and gloom and melancholy that contrasts well with the very dark, very like bitter, kind of like hopeless, devoid of light, full-on staticky doom that the rest of the cut takes. Honestly, the only thing I'm not really fucking with is The Machine That Bleeds, and it's not even really because of the song itself, it's more so because of the vocal contributions of members of God's Hate. It's just a little bit too, like, muscle-headed, kind of gym bro jock hardcore for my personal liking, tonally too similar to a comical degree of Macho Man Randy Savage. This honestly should not come as a huge surprise, though. I very controversially was not a huge fan of God's Hate debut back in, what was it, 2020, 2021? I concede it's not my best presented or articulated review, but I mean, I still get comments to this day from like these fucking, again, gym bro hardcore jock motherfuckers are just like, you just don't get it, brother. Yeah, you're weak. You have books on your shelf. You like metal. But whatever, I don't really give a shit. Cope, cry harder. I have seen some criticism levied towards the shorter song lengths. A vast majority of the songs here clock in between like a minute and a half and like 2.5 minutes, something like that. I kind of like it though. I kind of like the fast-paced kind of get in, get out kind of punk rock kind of energy of that. It means there's like no fat or filler at all either. The songs never kind of overstay their welcome. And to be blunt, there's not a lot within a lot of these individual songs that like makes me want to stay immersed in that world for longer than like 3 minutes max. And overall, the album is still like 38 minutes long, which I think is a pretty acceptable standard album runtime. I'm feeling a solid 4 to 5 on this. I think it is a great album. I don't know if I would say it's the Acacia Strain's best. A lot of people are saying that. It is definitely their darkest album and their heaviest album, at least since Coma Witch. I really don't have much more to say, man. I think Acacia Strain kind of knocked out of the park. I could picture myself spending more and more time with this album and even raising the score in the near future. But for now, I think 4 to 5 is it's acceptable. It feels right. It is a great album. Definitely check it out. And that is it for the Metal Meltdown. I am not an expert, nor do I claim to be. So what do you think? Do you like this record? Do you not like this record? And what do you want to hear from me next? And that is it for the Metal Meltdown. I am not an expert, nor do I claim to be. So what do you think? Do you like this record? Do you not like this record? And what do you want to hear from me next? And thank you for watching. Make sure you press subscribe so you get updates on the Metal Meltdown, blah, 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 blah. Other videos, join us on Discord. Hey, stay tuned for some kind of announcement in the coming days on the Metal Meltdown's official 2025 Halloween party and live stream. Yeah, cool. All right, I'm gonna go make breakfast because it's earlier in the morning than I'm willing to admit, and I'm hungry. Yeah. Cheers. Fuck off. Get out of here.